Philip, first of all, what is the refugee situation like in Thailand at the moment? How many people have left Myanmar?
Well, there are at least 3,000 are reported to have to have crossed over. They're coming from ethnic Karen areas, which are along the Thai-Myanmar border. And what's going on is that there is a dramatic escalation in the unrest inside Myanmar. The military and Karen rebels who've have over the decades fought a running insurgency, although of late there's been a ceasefire. They have been clashing. Karen forces overran a military base on Saturday, and the military has reacted by sending in airplanes and has been bombing Karen territory. And we're hearing at least 10,000 villagers are on the move inside Myanmar, and this number of at least 3,000 have crossed. Now, Thailand has long been, since the coup and since the unrest, has long been preparing for a possible influx of refugees. The Prime Minister has said today that we will take people as a humanitarian gesture. He didn't want to talk about numbers. I don't think he wanted to encourage people to think there is sanctuary in Thailand. I mean, he wants to keep these numbers limited. But the military have previously indicated that they were preparing for tens of thousands of potential refugees. And with this spreading of the fighting to ethnic areas, we could see a movement of people. And this only further indicates the sort of chaos that is engulfing Myanmar since the military coup at the start of February.
Philip, what about the situation in Myanmar? There were more protests again today after this weekend saw the bloodiest day since the coup began.
Yes, more protests and more deaths. We're hearing reports of 8 deaths at this stage. This takes the total number of people killed since the coup to at least 460, although that's sort of sadly a minimum estimate. And of them, 114 were killed on Saturday. Today and yesterday have also been days of funeral and of mourning. But the protesters are defiant despite this very violent crackdown at the weekend, and they're also maintaining the other prong of their rejection of the coup, which is the widespread strike movement of the civil disobedience movement. There are still swathes of the Myanmar civil service and of private business that are staying at home, not working, with the intention of making life ungovernable for the junta. So, we have protesters on the streets, we have the strikes, and now the junta is involved in sort of military battles with ethnic groups as well. It's really a kind of an ever-deepening crisis there, and it's very clear that the military, who thought they could stage this coup in what was a bloodless fashion on February the 1st, and thought that, they would basically carry on with life as normal, just them running the show. They completely underestimated the scale of the opposition, and we are, continuing to see that on the streets each day.
Thanks, Philip. Philip Sherwell reporting for us from Bangkok.